There's something off about my townsfolk, and it really doesn't matter who I talk to because they all seem to have something in common. They are all terrified of what's on the other side of this mass. And this definitely is not just a nuisance. It is actively blocking the sun, causing an eternal winter. As it turns out, my world just might be on the brink of... But before we continue on with the story, I have to go back to the start. You might even ask yourself how it's even possible to upset a deity. Calamity has assigned me a full task list of bosses that I am required to slay. And although it's not technically required for me to defeat every boss in Calamity, they do drop some pretty useful items which can be used later on. But not every boss was willing to go down so easily. Many steps along the way, I hit plateaus. Infernum changes bosses' attack patterns and attack layouts, meaning that forming a counter strategy against certain bosses would be pure agony. Fortunately for me, Anahita and Leviathan were not super difficult for me to kill and only took me a few attempts. Okay, so wow, if you kill the Leviathan, it's just like significantly easier. Oh my god, there it is. She's finally down. Let's go, dude. Okay, I need her to drop something called the community. Now, I don't know how many times. I might have to kill her quite a few times to get this, so let's hope that's not the case. Alright. And so this led me to my next problem of having to farm a lot of the bosses and enemies in the game.
Denied.
This was mostly just a battle of patience, and eventually I got the community. And the next boss that I needed to fight was summoned using the astral chunk. In my travels, I encountered an armored digger, but he was actually pretty easy to kill, and he had some very useful items for me. And although things seemed to be going well for me, this was simply just foreshadowing of what was to come. Okay, so I just got absolutely clapped by Astrum, but that's okay because Deerclops decided it'd be a good idea to spawn during a blizzard. So now I'm gonna take out my anger on you. You know, despite getting killed by Astrum, like, really badly, I'm glad that we can at least kill the bosses that we've already killed pretty easily. And after killing the Deerclops, I found a pretty questionable tombstone inside of my house. Also, check out this cool axe I found. It talks. It's a talking axe. Apparently her name is Lucy, and she likes to stay with the player. And if you drop her, then she freaks out. It's kind of like me after every single interaction I've ever had with a girl. Aww. I then took the Contaminator and decided to infect my area with Astral Infection so that I could fight Astrum in my own arena. Astrum Aureus is unlike anything I've ever seen. It looks like some kind of infected monster, but at the same time, futuristic robot alien. Its attack patterns were sporadic. Now, how does this have anything to do with the beginning of the video? Well, in the beginning of the video, you guys saw a cutscene, and in order to trigger this cutscene, I have to kill these bosses. As it turns out, even if you do kill a god or a deity, it doesn't fully die. I think that this might also have to do with what we saw in the beginning of the video. It's up to me to continue investigating so I can figure out what is behind all of this. Okay, he's killing all my people. All right, let's go. Okay, I need to kite him over here. Man, okay, yeah. Okay, no, yep. That's enough of that. That's enough. That's enough. Okay, that's good. We're good. We're good. We're good on the projectiles. We're good on those. Okay, we're good on the rockets too. Oh my. Okay. So this guy's not playing around. He's not playing around at all. Oh my god. Okay. Yep. Nope. Just keep on. Keep doing your thing, buddy. He's actually glowing now. I don't think he's very happy. I don't think he's very happy. He's glowing. He's literally glowing. Oh crap. Here we go. Trifecta laser murder time. Here we go. Okay, here we go. We're doing good. We're doing good. He's getting low. He's getting low. Terrorblade for the win, dude. Oh god. Perfect. So that's the key here. The key here is to just not take damage. You have to try to not get hit. The less you get hit, the more of a chance you have of winning. So it's not always about damage in some certain cases with these bosses, but more so not getting hit. Okay, here we go. Especially in the longevity of the fight. I'm sure there's going to be bosses where it's going to be more about, you know, DPS than staying alive. Okay, here we go, here we go. Okay, he's low. We just got to not get hit here. There we go. We got him. We got him, ladies and gentlemen. With Astrum being defeated, it was now time to move on to Golem. Before I can fight Golem, I'm gonna have to make Asgard's Valor.
Alright, so to make this, we're gonna need the Arc Shield. How do we make that, you ask? Well, we're gonna need 20 obsidian to make the obsidian skull. And as well, we're gonna need a cobalt shield just received from the dungeon to make the obsidian shield. Then we're going to need to make this blindfold. The blindfold takes all of these. Oh, God. And then we have to make the reflective shades. We're also going to need a blindfold and pocket mirror for that. Then we're going to need a pocket mirror as well. The pocket mirror can be crafted, I think, I hope, maybe, I'm really hoping that's the case, because if not, I'm gonna go crazy. Then we're gonna need to make a blindfold, or get the blindfold or something, or maybe we can do a shimmer transmutation. I don't know, I'm just trying to spitball ideas here. And of course, we're gonna need diamonds, which requires even more crafting recipes. So luckily for us, we just get to craft everything. Hooray! Then we need to go back to the dungeon, we get to get the Nazar so that we can craft, the haunt thingy for the shield, and then we need to count, of course, mantra, and then we need a fast clock, we gotta get a trifold map, we need medicated bandage. Oh my gosh, and then with the arc charm and the obsidian shield.
But you know what? It's okay, because Terraria Calamity has the most genius feature ever. You can craft vanilla item recipes. And so that's exactly what I did. And no, I don't feel bad because it is a feature of the mod, meaning that it is not cheating. The first part of the fight went pretty much as expected. Your basic bullet hells, trying not to get hit, flying in circles, dodging attack patterns, and then decapitation. Post Golem Fight, I decided to reward myself with the beetle armor. I then made the celestial shell, which luckily doesn't have a difficult crafting tree. I then, quickly realizing that there was a better set of armor, headed over to the Abyss biome. Now you may be asking, what is the Abyss biome? It is a biome located deep under the sulfuric sea, and it is the least safe biome in Calamity. This biome should be avoided at all costs by new players, but since I was starting to progress, I was able to mine a new ore from down here. This biome is so dangerous that I had to set down a wayfinder portal just to make sure that I could come back. And this place really did feel like an abyss. It was completely void of anything friendly or any light for that matter. My strategy was to use the wayfinder and the magic mirror to teleport between the two before my bubbles got to 0. Oh, and also, I don't think I mentioned, if your breath reaches 0, you are instantly crushed and killed by the pressure. Awesome, guys. So after a little bit of grinding, we've got the hydrothermic armor. We're going to go ahead and equip this. This is going to help us for our upcoming boss battles. And speaking of boss battles, as soon as I enter the jungle, I am attacked by a gigantic infected looking bee. Apparently its name is Plaguebringer. Okay guys, so this is one of the mini bosses I think I have to kill. Okay, yeah, so far it's kind of behaving like Queen Bee a little bit, you know, just doing the little side swipes and stuff. It's kind of shooting some projectiles, but I think right now with our current gear were kind of overpowered compared to this boss just a little bit. So it kind of just looks like if I just kind of go back and forth. Yeah, she's almost dead too. This is definitely one of the cooler boss fights I've seen though. One of the cooler mini bosses. She's definitely easy to dodge. There she goes. Yeah, okay, so we just got some of the new stuff that she drops too. Looks like some plague cell canisters. We'll definitely go back to base and check out and see what those do. But first, I decided to head to my jungle arena because there I could fight the next boss. Also, take a look at this bee's hive that I found. This thing is absolutely massive. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Post-Plaguebringer Goliath, I was immediately invaded by the Martians, and although this may inherently seem like a bad thing, this gave me some more useful items and allowed me to kill more of the mini-bosses in order to progress. I get to dodge lasers, shoot aliens, and take their extraterrestrial goods. Murica. If I was going to take on Calamity Infernum mode, I was going to make sure that I completed every challenge. And yes, this does include all of the events, which I still find to be pretty fun. Fast forward, and now we're taking on the Old One's Army. The Old One's Army is a Dungeon Defenders 2 crossover event, and the event consists of a set number of waves, which become increasingly difficult. You might think that this is an easy event that you can just simply defeat and get it over with, but that's not the case with many things in Infernum mode. You've got suicide bombers, and with the masses adding up, things can get out of hand. And there you have it. The Old One's army is defeated, but this was no easy task, as I had to fight Betsy over multiple days and nights just to kill her. I even had to rely on the nurse to heal me in order to continue the fight with Betsy. In the end, I ended up triumphing because of my cheaty tactics. Betsy was my toughest opponent yet. She had not only managed to kill me, but she also managed to kill my entire castle. So what's the reward from killing Betsy? Well, you get an electrified Beyblade, but all jokes aside, this thing is cracked. So this begs the question, what now? Why, of course, I'm going to build an artificial hollowed biome in the sky on the edge of the world. Now, why would I do this? Well, the next boss I have to kill is the Empress of Light. And, well, we need to keep her inside of the hollowed biome while also having a good arena to kill her because, well, the arena that I'm going to have to fight her in is going to have to be a little different from the ones I've been making. And before you know it, I was working on that girth. And it was only a matter of time before I had gotten the hollowed seeds and created the biome. But before I take on this absolute nightmare of a boss, it was time to make a trip to the dungeon to collect a few items. The first thing was ectoplasm, which is a post-plantera crafting material, along with a few other rare items like the vampire knives and the paladin's shield. I then head to the underworld to Draydon's lab to collect a sword called the Murasama. And you'll likely see in future episodes why this sword is so overpowered. But for now, we must focus on defeating the Empress of Light. On the surface, it may appear that I've defeated the Empress of Light with ease. I guess you could say this boss made light work of me. All crappy jokes aside, it's time for the Terror of the Sea. Duke Fishron was actually quite easy to defeat because he likes to ram into you. However, the Asgard's Valor allows me to ram into him, essentially going straight through him and not taking any damage. With Fishron defeated, it's time to craft the death whistle and summon the Ravager. Ladies and gentlemen, we worked very hard to get to this point, and now it's time for the Lunatic Cultists. Wait, hold the phone. Before I continue on, there's something I need to talk about. By now, you guys are very likely aware that I have Wrath of Gods installed for Calamity, and with this mod adds a few additional super bosses along with a quest line. So, at this point in the game, where's the quest line? It's like all of a sudden the quest just doesn't exist, like I missed over it or something happened along the way. Well, as it turns out, that's exactly the case. The main issue is that after I killed Skeletron, an NPC named Solon should have spawned. But the problem is that she never did, and she has a major role in the mod's story and progression. And so now my entire world was covered in snow, cold, dark, and very, very glitched. So what did I do? I created a whole new world using a ranger character instead of melee and defeated Skeletron again just so that I could get Solon to spawn and show you guys the quest line. Here it is. Huh? It starts off with Solon falling from the sky, one of the coolest entrances I've ever seen for an NPC in Terraria. At first, she's a little shooken up from her arrival, but through giving her some space and time, she's able to think straight and gives me a flagpole, which requires me to dig out a nice open space for her, set it down, and then she can set up camp. So, digging out a space, I did. I then logged into my melee character and went back to the camp to speak with her again. She then asked me to help repair her telescope, which was relatively cheap. To her delight, she thanks me, and then we wait till nighttime in order to observe the stars. And on the surface, this is a very nice gesture from Solon, but things turn quite sinister. And so there it is again, that dark mass from earlier. And whatever it is, it's already infected my other world, and it's now visible in this one. Whatever it is, it actively upsets and scares Solon. Through all of my endeavors, she gives me a reward and heads to bed. For the time being, I'm going to have to pause the questline as it would contain too many spoilers. There's a certain boss that I have to kill in the new world that I've created in order to progress in the questline. I will include the rest of the questline in future Terraria videos, but for the time being, it is up to me to defeat the Lunatic Cultists so that I can get to the Moon Lord.
And now it was time for the Celestial Pillars. Of course I targeted the Solar one first because it is the hardest, but it would provide me with the best gear for melee class. And it wasn't long before the pillar eventually fell, allowing me to grab the fragments. And after quickly acquiring these fragments, it didn't take me long to make the Solar Flare, a powerful weapon created by fragments of the sun. And with this new weapon of choice, it was time to fight one of the coolest bosses I've seen in this entire mod pack by far, Astrum Deus. Upon defeating Astrum Deus, we had access to a new ore in the astral infection called Astral Ore, and this stuff came from the very outer edges of space. It is very strong, and you will see why. Trust me, the Moon Lord in Infernum mode is just so insanely hard. This ore is going to come in clutch later, but for now, I have to take out these pillars. But wait, what if I told you that there's an Infernum exclusive hidden boss? Because for the price of 3 forbidden fragments, 1 core of sunlight, and a solar fragment, you can grab the Sandstorm's core and go to the underground desert and find a hidden portal which leads to another dimension. Yes, I know this sounds crazy, but it's true, and there is a hidden boss. And so there I was, casually opening up a portal to another dimension. Terraria's cool. Upon loading in, I am introduced to a very ancient and desert-looking area. In this dimension, it's nothing but sandstorms, ruins, and more sand. But it doesn't take long to encounter this guy. And let's just say he doesn't really like intruders. With the Bereft Vassal being defeated, it's now time to destroy the rest of the pillars. This will mark the beginning of the end. And with the Moon Lord lurking closer with every step, I knew I was going to be in for one hell of a fight. Having good gear wasn't going to cut it. I was going to need a legitimate strategy, and coming up with the perfect plan was going to take a lot of trial and error. after about like 600 deaths, I finally learned my lesson. What I was doing was not working, so it was time to make some change. First, I made the Entropic Claymore, which had very useful tracking projectiles. And do you remember when I said that Astral Ore was going to come in handy? Well, it definitely did, because it allowed me to make this, the Astral Blade. And this thing is a DPS machine. As well, I prioritized doing damage per second over having a higher defense stat. And let me tell you, this did wonders. And so that is the story of how the mass appeared in the sky. It was cold, it was dark, and it was bad news. I didn't even know what to think when I saw it, and my NPCs were not fond of it. I don't know what it is for sure in the sky, but one thing I do know is that it's very evil, and that there is something on the other side. I don't have any definitive answers as to what it is just yet, but it's only a matter of time before it reveals itself. As it turns out, I probably shouldn't have killed all of those bosses, but until then, it covers the sun, remaining a mystery, hiding in the shadows, waiting for an opportunity to strike. I don't have a game plan, but I do know that whatever it is, I'll be ready. And so marks the end of this episode. Although my investigation was partially a failure, I did still learn things in the end, especially from the questline. I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed this video of Terraria Calamity Infernum. This is hardly going to be the end of the series, as there is more to complete. So stick around, stay tuned, and click on this video that's about to pop up on your screen, as this video is very likely recommended for you to watch. And as usual, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. This is completely reversible if you decide to change your mind. And as always, I appreciate you guys for joining for this episode. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.